Hey, what's up? lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the October 2022 sequel book, The Lords of Night, a Shadow Bruja novel by J.C. Cervantes. So this is the fourth book in the Stormrunners series. Technically, Stormrunner has its trilogy. Zane Obispo is the main character of that, fighting the Mayan stuff going on with the gods and goddesses. We get Renata Santiago, who is the main character in this book, Ren. She gets a spin-off book, so this is her first spin-off book. Apuch, the god of death, the stinking one, he's back as well. The godborn Marco's back. A bunch of other godborns from their She-Home training center are back in various roles. But Zane and Brooks are doing their own thing. We get a voicemail, we get him on the phone here and there, but it's really Ren. And Ren's, trying to figure out what's going on. She's got this shadow magic, and we know she has shadow magic. So we get the backstory of how she came on boat to Holbox, where she met Zane and company. And so it's then a matter of what happens next. Why does she have this shadow magic, and why does she have why does she have connection to both the Aztec gods and goddesses and the Mayan gods and goddesses? How did this happen? So Pacific, we know, is the Mayan goddess that is her mother, who controls time, ocean, stuff like that. And so Huracan is Zane's father, who's the god of hurricanes and storms and change and stuff, right? So Apuch is still a teenager, and because of the time traveling that went on in the third book, trying to save the gods from 1987, 1988, one of those years. And so it's now a matter of, what do you do to get the gods back to their godly form, because they don't have all their godly magic? What happens next? And so Ren is teaming up with Marco for a bit. She's still on her Eyes on the Sky alien blog, and this kid sends her a message from Kansas saying, there's a symbol in my family's property in this field, and I think it's alien. So her and Marco teleport portal wise to Kansas, notice it. Apuch is trying to not have her do this, but who are the Lords of Night? What do they have anything to do with Ren? So it's revealed that there's 7 Lords of Night. One by one is slowly waking up. Once 5 wakes up, majority rules, then their magic can somehow start to transform into them coming back into fruition. But why were they asleep to begin with? Well, the Unknowns were these alien forces who teamed up with the Aztec gods and goddesses to revamp their empire, because it was slowly fading because of the conquistadors. So because they were dying gods, how do you still reinvent? But in hindsight, the Unknowns helped create life. So Ren's theory of aliens being on this planet was correct to begin with. Another thing within prophecies is that if the gods knew that if the unknown blood mixed with the Aztecian blood, it could create a force stronger than the gods. And we know that to be the illusion of this demon character, Edison, who is a friend of Apuch's, who helps Ren and Monty and Marco, fight some things. Montero is a hunter, a jaguar huntress, who comes into play, helps to, fight as well. So it's just a matter of finding out what these 5 Cinco, Mayan godborn characters who we've met in the last book, what are they doing with this Aztec power? Why are they trying to wake these gods and goddesses? Why are they trying to wake these lords for this queen to rise up? And is Ren actually this queen? Ren is actually this queen. It was prophesized because she is both of godborn blood and of Shadow Bruja magic. And where'd the magic come from? Well, the magic came from one of the lords to begin with. So it's just crazy. All of this intertwining mix of Aztec and Mayan come together. Throw in some alien thrown in there as well. Beautiful theories explained. The going through the maze of darkness in the dark market to get this obsidian blade, which is really not a blade, it's really an arrowhead. And what goddess is a part of that, who can actually put these gods and goddesses to sleep again. Ren making deals. It's just things, right? Things. It's just so quick. It is. I think I read this in 5-6 days. JC is an incredible author. That's why the Stormrunner series is my favorite of the Rick Riordan Presents books, because of how quick they go. You get all the information you need at an appropriate pace. It doesn't take 4 pages of dialogue to cement a plan. It takes 4 paragraphs to cement a plan, and then you go, and then things happen, and you think about it, and you deal with it, and you do the next thing, on and on and on and on. I think there's only 2 books in this duology of Shadow Bruja novel. But when they first announced this, I was like, this is interesting because Ren's a secondary character in the original Stormers trilogy. And I was like, how do we do a story based on her now? And I was like, well, thinking about it, if she is magic and Godborn, there has to be an explanation for the magic. And so we dive into the explanation of the magic. What I really love about this is the character development of Apuch, because he is still a teenager. He's still the god of death, but he can't do everything he used to do. So he still has that rage inside of him, but he can't act on that rage inside of him. He has to make deals. He has to propagate. He has to do all these different things. So having the conversation with Ren, saying that he thinks of her as a daughter, that if anything happens to her, he'll be devastated, comes at you would think when the first introduction of the character was brought in that he's this evil death god, it'd be coming out of left field. But the character development of that character is incredible. One of my favorite tropes is when the bad guy turns good or the good guy turns bad. What happened to change, right? What was the progress within that aspect, whether it was for the bad side of the villainy or the good side of the protagonist, the hero aspect, right? What happened? Where's that change? And Apuch knowing how to change, accepting that he has to change whether he likes it or not, is important with the character development of Ren, making the deal when she says, listen, if I turn bad, if I become this queen, you need to kill me. I need you to promise me that Monty is going to take her bow and blue feathered arrow, shoot me, and I need you to bring me to Xibalba, because I would rather be in Xibalba knowing everybody else is fine, so long as I'm not, ruling as this evil queen that I'm destined to be. Bro, the ending, insane, of the crown being placed and the arrow flying, and it was just leads right into that cliffhanger, man, just leading right into the second book. And it's so well done. It's so well done. It's so well paced. And it's not that it's a matter of you assumed what was going to happen happened, because it did. Like, I assumed what was going to happen happened, but I didn't mind that. I appreciated how quick it was. I appreciated the explanation along the way. I appreciate the inner monologues of Ren realizing she's not crazy, that aliens do exist, that all this bullying was for absolutely nonsense because she's getting the actual history that she was longing to have, learning about her past within the Mayan Godborn aspect, but within the Aztecian Shadow Bruja magic aspect. So we get it. We get the stuff. But now it's a matter of, is Edison really dead? Did Monty really kill her? Is she actually going to be in Xibalba? What happens if she's there? Is Ishtab going to grant her life again? Is she just going to stay there fighting from underground? What happens? Bro, there's so many what ifs that it's just so entertaining, and I'm very excited to see what happens next. This is a very well-crafted series. It's a very well detailed series, and it's quick. It's not boring. I'm not sighing. I'm not dreading. My mouth dropped a few times. When I was reading certain scenes, I was like, no. It was scandalous, but in the greatest of ways. So, Lords of Night, a Shadow Bruja novel by J.C. Cervantes, October 2022. The sequel book, I believe, comes out sometime this year. I have another Percy book to read, The Demigod Files, I believe. Then we're going to jump into our Goosebumps marathon, which is going to take a long time. And then we'll backtrack to my TBR list of things that I need to purchase and read. But, yeah, this is actually the last Rick Riordan Presents book that I got from Christmas to read. I got a lot of those at Christmas that I had a stack. We talked about my stack of books. So I read them, left it off on a high. It was such a great marathon we did. This was such an incredible book. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.